slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever.
I think the best advice I can give in regards to the mental game of marathon running is know what you're capable of and be patient enough to know that in this particular event, results will come in a matter of months. But if you're really focused on, say, breaking, qualifying for the Boston Marathon or breaking a 4-hour marathon or breaking 3 hours or faster, your success rate's more than likely going to take you years to get to a point where you're running at the highest of levels in the marathon distance. This is not an event really, in my opinion, runners that are like 20 to 22 years old should be racing unless it's your preference and what you really want to do. I started racing marathons at the age of 25 and never in my life envisioned myself being a marathon runner. I was a middle distance runner in high school, run 800, 1600, and 3200. And in college was still more of a mid distance runner, running the 1500, the 5000, 8K, 8 kilometers, or roughly about 5 miles for cross country as a collegiate athlete. Never looked at the marathon distance. Always looked upon marathon runners as kind of like lunatics, like you're crazy. But I think making that jump and being willing to be vulnerable in this particular event and taking some risk, it helped me get to a point where the marathon, looking back at all of my other particular PRs in the other distances, the marathon distance was my best event. I was the strongest racing 26.2 versus, say, like the mile. Okay, I mean, I ran the mile in 4:22. I was a 9:27 2-miler. Ran the 5,000 5K in 14:18. But the marathon was where I really put everything together. And again, it took several iterations, several tries over the years, from 2002 when I ran my debut at the New York City Marathon until I ran my PR at the California International Marathon in 2007. So the mental game of marathon running is you really have to first have a plan in place. If you want to run, say, under 3 hours and 20 minutes, focus on a 5 to 6 month block of training. And if you don't quite get there, say you're a few seconds off, or maybe you're a couple minutes off, or several minutes off your PR, just stay committed to what you're doing and know that it may take you 2 or 3, 4, 5 tries. Maybe it'll take you several years to get to that point. But the key thing as far as the mental game of marathon running, if you really want to be successful, is you have to be persistent enough. Okay, you have to have a strong enough motivation and drive, something that's going to help you to overcome those doubts and those bad workouts and the poor races and the scheduling and having times where you have to take a few days off, or maybe you're traveling and you can't put in the mileage, or maybe you're in a case like me, you're in the military. I mean, I retired in 2022. But I spent 20 years, just over 20 years on active duty, and the majority of my time, I had to make time in order to train for the marathon. There were times where I was, working a full-time job. I was in grad school. I was out doing field training exercises where I was out in the field in the military. And at that time, I knew the Army, when I was in the Army really didn't care if I was going to be successful in the marathon distance or not. I mean, it was really up to me to put in that type of work. So the marathon event is more of a middle-aged male or female athletes event. You have to focus really. I think the best time to really start racing marathons is really 25 years of age or older. Okay. It took me from 1992 all the way when I first started running as a 15-year-old until 2007 to run my PR for the marathon. Okay, so I don't know too many people, and I haven't run across too many athletes over the years that are willing to put in that length of time in order to pursue something, or and to achieve something in the sport, because it's natural to want to quit early and move on to other things. I've had plenty of friends and associates over the years that were far more talented than me. It ran much faster on the track from the 2 mile, 3,200 meters, a little 18 meters short of a 2 mile. But I had athletes. I remember a guy named Jason Rexing when I was in high school. I mean, this guy ran around 4:10 for 1,600. He was around 9:05 for 3,200 meters. He retired from running after high school. Okay, again, everybody has their own reasons for pursuing this particular event. So the mental game of marathon running is still having a life, enjoy what you're doing, but you also really have to time manage what you're doing as well, because once you're out of college, and this is especially for the athletes that are about to graduate from college or that are transitioning into these longer races, it's different. Okay, when you're in college, you can just focus on your studies and focus on being with the team and go into your track meets. But you have to, once you transition from college, you have to make sure that you utilize that drive and that motivation. If you're watching this video, it already tells me you have a high level of excitement for the sport. You love physical fitness. You love pushing your body. You want to get faster in your chosen event. And this, maybe in this case, to the marathon distance. Okay, but once you transition from college, most of the time you lose those teammates, so you don't have the accountability as you once had when you were in college. So you have to transition and really utilize that mental strength that you had for several years in high school and in college, and continue to utilize that as you transition out of college as a post-collegiate athlete. Okay, I transitioned, when I graduated from college, I transitioned straight to the roads. I didn't continue to pursue track and field, but I continued to obviously love the sport. I still love the sport, as a 48-year-old at the time of this video. But I really had to rely on my motivational level, especially as when I graduated from college in 2000. I enlisted into the Army in 2002, February of 2002. So transitioning from college to the military was a huge mental challenge, because I always respected the military, but I never really envisioned myself at that time being a military service member. Okay, my dad retired in 1992. He spent a little over just under 22 years in the military, and I saw his drive and motivation. But when I graduated from college, at that time I had a Bachelor of Arts in Physical Education from Malone University. Physical education, having a Bachelor of Arts, I couldn't teach, so it was more of a degree that you can be like a personal trainer. At that time, when I initially graduated from college, I was a substitute teacher and a personal trainer. So it just and I had about $35,000 in debt at the time. So at that time, just based on the job market, there just wasn't really anything available at that time in Canton, Ohio. So I chose to enlist in the Army and continue to focus on running and my education, because I knew that I didn't want to stop at a Bachelor of Arts in Physical Education. I went on to earn a Master of Science in Sport Administration from the University of Northern Colorado, earned my MBA from Purdue University in 2018, and then finished my doctorate of Business Administration, or a DBA, from the University of Missouri in St. Louis in 2023. So education was always very important to me. But again, marathoning was a long-term approach. I didn't start running marathons until 2002. The U.S. Army, I was at my first duty assignment at Fort Carson, Colorado Springs, and the sports specialist at the U.S. Army World Class Athlete Program reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to go to New York City to run with a charity team that was going to start in last place And for every runner we passed, Chase Manhattan Bank was going to donate $1 to lung cancer research. So I had never run a marathon. I'd run 53:21 for 10 miles at that time, which was at the 2002 Army 10 miler. That was my first 10-mile race for the Army. And so I felt like I could run a marathon, but I didn't know how fast. So, but the point of me saying this long-winded conversation here is really, it is a mental game. It's you have to have a long-term vision for what you want to do in this sport. And if you're strong enough mentally up here, and you have that drive, and you're willing to think more long-term, you have that belief in delayed gratification, you know that success as a marathon runner, especially as a marathon runner, is going to take several years rather than several months. Okay, my advice to you, if you're just getting started as a marathoner, peak ages for this event is right around 32 to 35 years old. I peaked in the marathon, ran 2:19 when I was 31 years old. Okay, I also ran 2:26 at the 2011 Monumental Indianapolis Marathon when I was 35, and my last marathon I ran was at the 2013 California International Marathon when I was 37. I ran 2:32 there. So again, looking from when I first started as a 15-year-old in 1992 all the way up until 2013, it took me that long, that several years, several decades, a couple of decades really, to get to that point. So my advice is just to rely on your strength and your drive and your motivation that you have, and believe in what you're doing. Know that you are going to achieve success in the marathon distance. If you're a 4-hour marathoner and you're trying and you really want to get to 2:59, you want to become a sub 3-hour marathoner, expect that it's going to take you several years. Don't think it's going to take you several months to do this. It's going to take. I'm being blunt and honest. You may not even get to sub 3 hours. Maybe you go from 4:06 down to 3:12. What a massive success that would be if you could drop even that much time. But that being said, let me tell you, I just encourage you all. I coached a guy that had a PR of 3:48. He ended up running 2:58. Okay, he had 5 kids, and he ended up going from 3:48 to 2:58. So if you're far away from breaking the 3-hour marathon, or you're far away from breaking the 5-hour marathon, maybe you're at like 5:45 right now and you're trying to get to 4:59, continue to work on that pacing strategy that you have. You have to train well below goal marathon race pace often enough, and you have to get those long runs durations out to around 22 to 24 miles in length. Okay, get it further than 32K. You're running a 42.2K race. Okay, so just continue to put in that heavy work, train at paces that are significantly faster and right at goal race pace as well. Those tempo runs are really key as well. Okay, getting my tempo runs out to around 12 to 13 miles was very critical in helping me set my new personal best for the marathon distance. So just have that, rely on yourself, believe in yourself, surround yourself with the right people, listen to the right information. Go back and watch the videos I've made here on the channel. Click on the magnifying glass icon on the search box on my channel, and go back and just type in marathon training, how to run sub 4-hour marathon, sub 3, sub 5-hour marathon. I've made a lot of videos about this and the mental approach that you have to be a successful marathon runner. So I hope this video on the mental game of marathon running is helpful for all of you that are aiming to, maybe transition from the track to the longer races, or maybe you've already run a marathon and you're trying to run faster and thinking of some other strategies to really make that next big jump in your training. Check out the resources on RunDreamAchieve.com or below in the description. They're there to help you get to the next level and help you set a new personal record in this event. Not only this event, but from the mile all the way up to the ultra marathon. There's a lot of resources I've created on RunDreamAchieve.com that I'm highly confident that will help you get to the next level. So thanks so much for your support. Please like and share these videos. It helps other athletes around the world to see these videos, and I really appreciate all of you that are old or new subscribers and that support this channel. It really means a lot. So thanks again, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.